This is the Astros Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Houston Astros, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The Houston Astros might be the definition of hot and cold because, man, one night they are hot as can get. The next night they're as cold as anybody else. And then they come right back and get hot once again. And that's what happened this Sunday afternoon at Daikin Park as they take down the Los Angeles Angels, securing the series win as they still will go into a game tomorrow looking for their first consecutive wins of the season. Which is something that you would have figured they would have accomplished by now. But all that matters today is that they take care of their business, they get the victory, and they do it in pretty good fashion. Hello and welcome to the Locked On Astros Postcast here this evening, or this afternoon, whatever it is. I'm your host, Michael Connor. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you hit subscribe to this Locked On Astros channel. I'm your host for the Postcast shows. It's instant reaction as soon as the game ends right here, all season long. Don't forget to always join us. We'll do it again tomorrow night, of course, when they get out there and also play again against the St. Louis Cardinals tomorrow in St. Louis. All right, let's talk it through here. The Astros were good, right? They had a good day at the park. They did some things at the plate they needed to do. They went out there and they pitched as well. But what's the number one thing that you're going to walk away from talking about here?
This is what you'll be talking about.
The number one thing is what the pitcher did, the starting pitcher, Hayden Wesneski. We're going to get into him a little bit more here in just a second. But I think that's the number one thing you walk away with outside of Isaac Paredes hitting a home run for a third consecutive day. And I don't do a ton of this all the time. And, well, first of all, here's a question for the show as we're coming in live. Marcus asking, where's Coco? She's taking a nap right now. She's busy. I'm telling you, she's going to make an appearance at some point in 2025. For those of you that don't know who Coco is, she is the rally chihuahua in my home that is a star in this show. But I will say this one right here, this comment from you, Tej, and we appreciate you watching and listening. Calm down. The only reason why we won is because Hendricks is not a good pitcher. That's unfair. That's unfair to say on a day today. Because here's the reality of the situation. You still have to go out there and put up the runs. You still have to go out there and score against that team. And that's what they did. It's not as easy as saying, oh, it's a bad pitcher. It's not how it works. They're major league pitchers. Bad major league pitchers can have days where they go out and they look great. And guess what? A bad major league pitcher is pretty darn good at what he does, considering what it takes to be a major leaguer. So I don't really like that kind of line of thinking. I don't think that that's the right way to view a game when you win a game. I think it's a waste of time, to be honest with you. And today, yeah, sure. Did they play a team that they should beat? And we all know that they should beat? Yeah. And I don't care what you think about how it looked or whatever. They did it. They did what they needed to do. They did their job. They get to 7-8 on the season. There are 2.5 games out in the West now behind those Angels. They've taken the first series of the season against the Angels. All of those things matter. Don't get caught up in the small, silly stuff. Enjoy the positive stuff and enjoy the number one thing that you're talking about today, which is Hayden Wesneski. And I asked the question there, is he better than advertised? And yes, I will say, through the first 3 times that he has pitched this season, he is absolutely better than advertised. I think we all knew that there was a chance that, look, the Astros have a history here of pitchers getting into the organization and finding their way and picking out something that they might not have been executing as well before and making them even better. This has gone on for years. We've seen it for years. And this guy, I think when you looked at him, when they brought him in, all the spin that this guy can produce, and I will give it, his fastball's bigger than, when you watch, it's bigger than I expected it to be. I think he can reach back and get a little bit more than you would expect out of him. And, he looks like another prime candidate to be one of those products of the Astros. Not that he's a complete product of the Astros, obviously, because he has had some good moments in the big leagues. But he can produce an elite amount of spin, and he can miss enough bats. And through a career high 10 strikeouts today, they might have struck gold here. And for as much as I never liked the thought of trading away Kyle Tucker, I thought that it was terrible. I always thought for years they should have locked him up. And look, Kyle Tucker's playing like an MVP. So far, the return that they have gotten looks pretty good. They've got 3 players helping the Major League roster. Now, are the Astros winning games right now? You could make the argument that just having Kyle Tucker alone offensively outweighs anything else that they're getting out of this trade. And maybe they're not 7-8, and maybe they're, they've got 9 wins or something like that at this point. If Kyle Tucker's swinging the bat like he is from Chicago here, but for the cumulative, for the entire season here, what the 3 of them can add, and that's also barring that Cam Smith continues to be, a guy that looks like things are starting to slow down for him a little bit. He's getting some results, which is great. Got a result today. Got another run batted in. You love to see it. But maybe those 3 can outweigh everything and help them win enough. Like I said, Isaac Paredes, as advertised, Deadpool hitter, sees a lot of pitches. I think he's not the most athletic guy at third base, but he's playing a better third base than I predicted he would, or expected that he would. I shouldn't say predicted, but that I expected him to play. And he's going to be a Crawford box merchant. That guy is going to love those Crawford boxes, and we've seen it for 3 straight days now. And if he does hit, somewhere between 25 and 30 home runs, and, the Astros get I'd love to say a plus 700 OPS, over 700 OPS out of Cam Smith, and Wesneski does what he does for 28 to 32 starts in the regular season, and you've got years of control for those guys, return looks pretty good for 1 year of a player, especially if the Cubs lose the player, which I think that they probably will, given how cheap that they are up there in Chicago when it comes to spending on players. Kyle Tucker's price just keeps soaring. I mean, look, he's a better player than Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s got $500 million. Kyle Tucker's getting 6 or 550 at minimum. There's just no way he's not. So when these guys come out, and really all of them today, all those guys from that trade did something to help you win that baseball game today. You like to see it. You absolutely love to see it. And now they're going to get to go take on an old NL Central rival. Do we still hate the Cardinals the way we used to hate the Cardinals? We'll talk about that. We'll hand out the player of the game and where this team is going. Can they win 2 in a row? We do that next here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Looking for a snack? Well, yeah, I am too. That's both delicious and nutritious. Always, duh. Who isn't looking for that? Well, you can crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest proteins you can get from a nut. Each 1 ounce of serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. I absolutely love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab-and-go snack for busy days, whether I'm snacking at my desk here, on a road trip, or just need a quick protein boost. They're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell, for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell option are a classic favorite. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit Wonderful Pistachios to learn more. One more message before we get back to our discussion on the Astros win today over the Los Angeles Angels, picking up the series victory. Let's talk to you about your money. Everybody's got to talk about their money, right? Well, let's make it easier. Ever look at that bank account and say, well, where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you just stop managing your money and you start building some wealth. It's fantastic. Instead of juggling all kinds of apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track that spending, and even plan some long-term goals. And managing your money with your partner is now smoother than ever. You can track shared accounts and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Astros taking down the Los Angeles Angels today, picking up the series victory, 2 out of 3 over the weekend. Look, at the end of the day, all you got to do is go out there and win series, right? That is what you are supposed to do, and that is what the Astros did again this weekend. This is the Locked On Astros Postcast, by the way. I am your host, Michael Connor. If you're new to the show here, if we're live later on, whatever it is, thank you for stopping by. Don't forget, we'll be live after basically every single game. There's always going to be a few here and there. The late night West Coast games get a little bit tough sometimes. I always let you guys know ahead of time for those. But we appreciate you stopping by. We appreciate the Astros giving us something good to talk about. Not that I don't like doing a show, but it's not as enjoyable when they lose. It just isn't. You have to come on here, the sky's falling today. Everything's awful. They stink. There's no chance. And look, they could go out and lose tomorrow, and I'm probably going to do the same thing just because I'm like you guys. My emotions go up and down. It's a roller coaster. It's what a baseball season is. But I'm going to ask again, and I'm going to get greedy again, and I'm going to say, please, please, can you give us consecutive wins here in the city of Houston? We all, those of you listening, me talking, would enjoy watching this team go out there and oh my God, sorry, I just got distracted. I've got the Masters on to the side of me, and Rory McIlroy just almost made a massive mistake, and he somehow held on. It was crazy. It's a big day of sports, too. There's a lot going on. Tomorrow, though, they're going to – actually, before we get to tomorrow's game, because, well, tomorrow's a day, who gets the honors today?
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Now, offensively, nobody had like an unbelievable day. You had a run batted in from Jeremy Pena, run batted in from Cam Smith, run batted in from Mauricio Dubon, and then, of course, the 3 runs batted in from Isaac Paredes. But all those guys had just 1 hit. The Astros had 6 hits in the game to produce 7 runs. It's a pretty good ratio. They had just the 1 extra base hit. And like I mentioned earlier, Isaac Paredes hits a homer for a 3rd consecutive day, now has 3 of them on the season. We talked about him earlier, though. Career high today, and it's crazy because he also gave up 3 runs, all 3 solo home runs. Hayden Wesneski, 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, 10 strikeouts, no walks, 3 homers, like I mentioned. Through 3 starts, he is 1-1. His ERA is at 4, but overall, he has been pretty darn solid when you just go and look at what he's done for this Astros club. Of course, his first start of the season was a lot like this one here. Today, it was 6 innings. It was 5 innings, 3 runs. Then he went 7 innings, 2 runs, and then 6 innings, 3 runs. This guy gives you that every time out. You are going to have a chance to win the baseball game every single time. And as I was talking about making big mistakes in the Masters, Bryson DeChambeau hit one in the water. So he's the one that made the big mistake. As you could guess, after I get done here, I will be watching the rest of the golf tournament because, well, even though it's not going to be very dramatic now, Rory's about to take a big old lead down the stretch. I'd like to have the Astros have a big old lead down the stretch in the regular season. That would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Tomorrow, the Cardinals. As I mentioned, I think in my childhood growing up, because my glory days of childhood Astros baseball was the 04-05 team. That 04 team came up short. The 05 team went to the World Series, but it was always against the Cardinals. And, man, I like all of you. Hated Pujols, hated Jim Edmonds, hated Scott Rowland, Reggie Sanders, David Eckstein, Julian Tavares in the bullpen, Chris Carpenter, all those guys. All of them. Just didn't like any of them. Remember, they had Larry Walker for a minute. They had a lot of guys. But they're still not likable to me. And it's going to be interesting. Look, you're going to be playing them. You see them a lot in the spring. You're going to face Sonny Gray tomorrow. I would assume that the Astros would do pretty well against him. I also got that guy over there. Are the Astros still interested in Nolan Arenado? I doubt it, but you never, ever know. You can't write any of that kind of stuff off. So we'll see what they do. I expect the Astros to go up there at 6:45 tomorrow night, first pitch, 6:45 on Tuesday, and then 12:15 on Wednesday. Let you guys know on the 12:15 on Wednesday game. I do not know what my Wednesday is going to look like just yet, if I will be able to pull that one off. If I can, I will. Thank you for watching this afternoon. Of course, join us again tomorrow night after Astros and Cardinals on the Locked On Astros Postcast.